I have a 23 R1. I'm going to install this DNA air filter and these Smog block-off plates here from Graves. Remove the seat. Remove this side piece here on the right and left side of the tank. Remove this front part of the tank here. There's going to be a screw on the right and left side and a bolt up top. Now when you remove that front plastic piece, there's a couple Velcro pieces right here, and it looks like right in the middle you'll see these little pieces here where it snaps into place. To remove the tank, there's going to be a bolt right here on the right and left side, and then there's a through bolt right here at the back of the tank. This nut here, I'm using a 10 millimeter. There we go. On the clutch side of the bike, there's going to be two vent hoses that need to be removed. One right here and one where this clamp is at. I have this bar stool here. I'm just going to take the tank and set the bar stool up close to the bike. We're going to set the tank right here on the bar stool, just like so. Unplug the fuel pump. Just press down on that clip and pull out. Be careful not to drop the gas tank like that. To remove the fuel line, just take a small little flathead and you're just going to put it in on this top part right here and just kind of wedge it out. I've already done that. And it'll move this white clip out. Should be able to remove the fuel line there. Remove this insulation piece here, I guess that's what you would call it. Unhook the 4 fuel injector connectors here. Now the good thing about this, they're already numbered 1, 2, 3, and 4. Remove the fuel injector hose right here. Just take your small little flathead and just work that up like that. This piece is held on there pretty good. You probably want to have a rag handy because some gas is going to come out a little bit. I'm going to remove this piece right here. I can set the connections aside. Take this out just so I don't lose it. There are 10 screws on top of the airbox that need to be removed. There's 4 on the left, 4 on the right, and these 2 on the back here. It's probably a good idea that you use just a regular screwdriver instead of any kind of power tools back here because you have these gas fumes and I don't want to risk burning down the house or blowing myself up. I have all the screws out. We're ready to remove the top part of the airbox. To remove the bottom part of the airbox, there's going to be a bolt here and one here. So 2 on the back. And then if you look closely, there's going to be 1, and then there's 2 in the middle there, and then another one over here on the right side. I'm going to remove these velocity stacks here because I can't get to the back bolts. If you look right here, they're just kind of held on with these little front plastic pieces, and I'm just going to pop those off. Literally just gently pull on those and they just come right off. There's actually 2 bolts right here that need to be removed as well. I guess I missed those. A total of 6 bolts, 2 here, 2 at the back of the stacks, and then 4 at the front. We can remove the lower airbox here. There's a hose right here on the brake side of the airbox. Need to disconnect this wire here. Remove the box. Remove this guy here. This is an 8mm bolt. And then inside the box there's a little gray looking piece right here holding the bottom of the box down. You just kind of push on that. There's 2 wires going into this box here. There's one on the right, one on the left. I'm just going to remove the bolt here for the one on the right, and then the one over here on this other side, I'm just going to unclip it, just press down, pull that out, just like that. From the silver solenoid, just trace that connector right here, get you a small screwdriver, you're going to insert that in and just lift up, and you'll be able to unplug that piece right here. This is the connector you're looking for, so there's like a little silver solenoid looking piece right here. That's the part you want to disconnect. I'm ready to remove these factory plates here. There's 2 bolts here on the left. There's going to be 2 of them over here on the right. All right, I have the 4 bolts removed. I'm not going to lie, those took me forever just because of the clearance that you really don't have. There's a little retaining piece right here that's holding the system in place to a wire. So I need to remove this guy right there. There we go. This is the piece right here that you have to open up. Be careful. That inside compartment there is sharp. I'm getting smoked by this thing. I'm gonna need to reuse this piece here, so I just took my little bitty screwdriver and just broke it apart like this. I've seen some people where they just cut that out. So for me, I'm just gonna remove this piece here. Take this part of the front piece here, and we're just gonna insert that back in the bottom. There we go. If you look right here, you can see there's 2 little bitty, they look like threaded screws right here on the plates. There's going to be these 2 on this one and over here on this one as well. So the plates are only going to fit one way. And so what you need to do is, you see where they're cut out right here where my thumb is at, that's the part that's going to sit over the threaded pieces. And you want to make sure that these are seated all the way down. So it's going to look like that. I'm going to use just a dab of this red thread locker here on each one of those bolts. I have both of the plates installed here. Okay, so since this bike is going to get a tune, I need to disconnect the O2 sensors. I just unbolted the fairing here on the side and then just traced up to where the O2 sensor plug was at right here and just disconnected that. And what we'll do is I'll just zip tie that off. The O2 sensor on the brake side is a lot easier to do. The wire is right here. It runs all the way up. And then if you, with both hands, just pull on that, you'll be able to confirm that this is where it's at here. I'm ready to start reversing all the processes here. I'm starting with this front piece and to reconnect the 2 wires that I removed from the beginning. Now on this right wire here, there's a hose back underneath it that you'll need to reconnect to this sensor as well. So right here on the back, there's a hose that goes into the box and then into the sensor itself. So you want to make sure that's connected. And we're going to plug in this guy here. There was some black electrical tape wrapped around here that kept this wire together. That's what I'm going to do next. When you go to install this part, there's a lip right here that needs to sit inside of the front part of the frame here. When it's secured, you don't want that moving up and down. So make sure that that front part of that lip is inside of the frame there. On the factory piece here, on this long tube, remove this retaining clip here, because we are going to reuse that. With this piece right here, just take you a pair of pliers, and what we're going to do is we're just going to crimp this down just a little bit, make it a little tighter than it normally is. The kit comes with this plug here, and on the bottom right part of the air box, we are going to insert this plug, get that to seat all the way up. Now we can take that retaining clip that we removed from the factory system, and we're going to insert that here. Okay, I'm ready to set the air box in place here. And before I do that, I'm going to plug this piece back in. There we go. And we're going to bolt down these 2 bolts here. There's 2 in the back and then 4 in the front. At this point here, I'm going to remove this stock air filter and install that DNA aftermarket filter. If you look here, look at the restriction that it has here on this particular part of the filter. That's crazy. The instructions say to take a little bit of this grease here and apply it to the parts of the outside of the filter that's going to seat into the box. That's what I'm going to do here. There are going to be 3 little tabs right here that need to fit in the box where they're slotted there. And so you just want to feed this where those tabs sit. There you go. And you'll know that they'll be seated whenever you kind of pull up right here on this bottom part of the filter. It won't come back up. I'm ready to install the velocity stacks. They're just going to snap in place. And just make sure that they're functioning properly. I'm ready to install the top part of the air box here. There we go. Reconnect the hose here. Reconnect the fuel line. You want to make sure you press this all the way up as far as it'll go. Reconnect the injectors. Reinstall this front insulation piece. Reconnect the gas tank. I really believe having this bar stool here makes a world of difference. Set the gas tank down first. Don't forget to reinstall your vent hoses. And what I did is I just took something, propped the gas tank up so I had a little bit of clearance down there. Okay, to get the 3 tank bolts in, I put this guy in the back in first, just like this. And then I used this tool to help kind of line it up. Just be careful if you do that, you don't want to mess up the threads. Put this one in, removed this, and did the same thing on the other side. And then at the very end, I put this back in. I know that kind of seems a little redundant, but that's how I ended up getting everything kind of squared away there. Alright, last step is to put the seat on. Alright, I got everything done. It took me about 4 hours to do it. If I can do it, I know you can. Steps were really simple. It was just time consuming at some parts of the installation. So just to kind of recap, we got the Graves Smog block off plates, and I did the DNA air filter installation. I am going to take this to a shop and get it flash tuned and get it on a dyno just to see what kind of numbers that we can get. So I'm not going to start it up and see what the difference is. I don't know if you can start it up or if it'll mess anything up. No clue, but I'm not going to risk it. So stay tuned for my next video. I hope to get those dyno numbers soon. Thanks for watching.